And there's someone else here. When you serve, you don't serve alone. Many of you are, I'm sure, have been in elected office, but you can't do this alone. I just want to say, I'm so fortunate to be on this journey now today, and the journey been on the last 6 years with the First Lady of North Dakota. She's courageously told her story about her battle with addiction and her recovery. And she's here today. She's celebrating 21 years in recovery. Give it up for Catherine Burgum over here. Thank you. Two things can happen at the same time that are opposites. One is happening right here, and it's happening in every community that we go to across Iowa, New Hampshire, North Dakota. We call it the best of America. You go to communities like this, and you can find neighbors helping neighbors, like they did in my hometown. People that have little barely funded nonprofits that are doing great work to solve a problem. People standing up and running for school board. People that are getting involved in city council. This is happening all over America. And we need to just focus on the best of America. If you turn on the cable news, if you turn on social media, you never hear about the best of America. You and I, we all know it's happening every day. It's absolutely happening. But the other thing can happen at the same time. The Biden administration is not just needs a course correction, they are 180 degrees wrong on the economy, on energy, and on national security. Those three things, 100%. And I know this because I grew up in a small town, Arthur, North Dakota, 300 people. It was fantastic growing up there, a little ag community. Everything we did growing up, working at the farm, working at the grain elevator, working on the ranch. Even had a job during college, working as a chimney sweep, paying my way through college. And my parents were amazing. My mom, president of the school board. My dad was a World War II Navy officer vet. When Pearl Harbor happened, he got, and like a lot of young men in that age, went down to the gym in Castleton, 15 miles away, signed up for the Navy. He had a college degree from North Dakota State. They made him a naval officer. He had never seen the ocean. I'm not sure he knew how to swim, but as fast as they could build destroyers, they put him on there, and he left Bremerton, Washington, and went off to the Pacific. Never saw my mom till after the end of the war. There's 151 destroyers at Okinawa. 129 got hit by kamikazes. It's only through the grace of God that I'm actually standing here right now. But what he did and what his generation did, we must never forget in terms of the people that are serving our country. In North Dakota, we're working hard to make sure we've got the most military-friendly state in the nation, because this country doesn't work without people like my dad and like your dads and your grandpas and everybody that did that. So I want to just give it up. If there are veterans in the room here, if you're a veteran, stand up. If you're a veteran, stand up. Let's give them a hand. There you go. Thank you all. Thank you for your service. And then I was a freshman in high school, and my dad died. That was rough. Getting on the bus to go play kindergarten basketball, they pulled me off the team bus. My mom went back to work. She was a rock. 3 kids, widow, going back to work. If you're a working mom out here, I understand what you were going through. We'll be fighting for you too, because I saw what she had to do. And my dad gave me a little piece of ground, not enough to be farming on, because in dryland wheat farming in North Dakota, you need thousands of acres, but 160 acres I got from my dad. I literally mortgaged that to start a little software company called Great Plains. We started with 10 kids, and then we built that. 18 years later, we were an overnight success story. A few up and downs along the way. But we built a 2,000 person company, 1,200 of them working in Fargo, 400 rest of North America, 400 rest of the world. We had customers in 132 countries. We created so much value for our customers and our partners. We created $1 billion company out of those kids in North Dakota. We did that. And when someone tells me that you can't be from a small town and run for president, it's just like jumping on my start button, because absolutely, DC needs more small town values. They need more understanding of what's going on in America and small towns. And in 2016, we decided to jump in. There was an open race for governor. We ran, and we were down 59 points in the polls. I promised Catherine. She was like, I'm not sure I want to be a first lady of anything. And I'm like, hey, I get that, but don't worry, we're not going to win. Not going to happen. We only have 5 months till the primary. And then, well, we won the primary 60-40, and then we won the general by more than 40 points. We got reelected in 2020 by over 40 points, highest margin in any gubernatorial race in the country. How did we do that? When we go to work, we know that we work for everybody. When there's a blizzard in North Dakota, we're plowing the roads for the independents, the Democrats, the Republicans. We're doing it for everybody. The services that we deliver and just not efficient. We took $1.7 billion out of a $6 billion budget our first 4 months in office, and every train still ran on time. You can do that. Technology is changing every job, every company, and every industry. It has not changed government. There's a huge opportunity to take 10 to 20% of the cost out of the federal government. I know how to do that. I've done it before because the business that I was in, we always had to get better, faster, cheaper the next day. But on energy, well, let me start with the economy. One thing on the economy, what do we have right now? We have the highest interest rates in 22 years. We got a debt that's completely out of control at the federal government. We got budget, the budget's upside down, trade deficit. I mean, you can't find one economic thing. And the Biden administration tries to tell all of us, don't worry, inflation is going down. That's code word for prices are increasing not as fast as they were yesterday. That's like, feel good about your 10% pay cut last year because you're only getting a 5% pay cut this year. That's Bidenomics. Okay, but what we know, the prices for all of you are up 17 to 30% more than 2 years ago, and we know that incomes haven't risen that fast. We're all worse off than we were 2 years ago. And we can fix that. We can absolutely fix that. And one way we fix that is by cutting red tape. The federal government creates so much burden. I've seen it as a small entrepreneur and a small business owner. I've seen it running large global business, and now I've seen it in every day as governor, where the federal government is trying to bigfoot the states. And by the way, the states created the federal government, not the other way around. In the Constitution, yes, in the Constitution, there is a limited number of things that the federal government is supposed to do. The rest is reserved for the states, or for the people. Or for the people. Some of the stuff parents can decide. We don't need a state law. We definitely don't need a federal law. We get back to the power of the people. We can reduce the size of the federal government, get back in the lane, but the federal government does have responsibility around the economy and around energy policy and around national security. And national security includes border security. And right now, Biden is complete dereliction of duty on the southern border. This last year, 110,000 overdose deaths in our country, 107,000 the year before. That's a statistic that's hard to get your head around. But understand what that means. That's 300 Americans a day are dying. 70% of those are fentanyl poisonings. Not an accidental overdose, poisonings. That's coming from China. We're taking mass casualties because of our open border. We absolutely are. And we have got to stop that. North Dakota, like other states, has been sending troops down there. We've got two different deployments going down. I'm going down there tomorrow to see the group that's been there for 9 months and another group that just got there. And I will tell you, take whatever number the Biden gives you on crossings and triple it, because they're not reporting the full number that's happening down there. So Biden took them 2 years to get down to the border. I'll be down there in 2 weeks after I'm president. We will get that problem solved. And in closing out on the energy, the one thing you need to know is we're going to start selling energy to our friends and allies on day one. Stop buying it from our adversaries. The Biden energy policy, I think, was created by China. Why do I say that? Because they want to take liquid fuels. There's an attack on biofuels, ethanol, oil and gas in this country. Just this week, they buried a news lead that's essentially a war on pickups, because they're saying they want to phase out internal combustion machines by 2032, including pickups. I don't know how that's going to work in the world that we're living in up here, but they want to do that because they want to go all EV, and they want to have everything electric, and they want to subsidize 500,000 charging stations. They want to subsidize the cars, and the batteries all come from China, and China produced 85% of the rare earth minerals. And so we literally would be trading our future to China. We can't do that. And so I will tell you, energy policy, economics, national security, they're all interrelated. I understand all three of these. We'll get them fixed. We'll get this country on the right track. We're going to be campaigning throughout Iowa all the way through the fall to January. We're going to be there. We hope that you're with us there in January. Thank you so much. Let's get some small town common sense back in Washington, D.C. Thank you very much.